Hi all. Hey everybody, welcome to the OEW Network presents Gilby Talks with none other than Gilby himself. Take it away, sir.
Well, that is me. I have been the host of Gilby Talks podcast since 2016 now. I've been doing it a little while. I have been heard all over the world, and I am truly not sure why still. But people seem to love the show, so I will keep on. Right now, I'm excited to Moonlit Mingle, personally himself, but and my guest today is Buzz Buttons. And right now, I'm not on stage, but we will be getting there. Just going to say right now, if you are coming, make sure you put this in the equipment and by. And guys, this is work every single day. Yes, I am the godfather of OIW. Yes, I am the host of Gilby Talks. But I just want to tell why it started the way it is. Flat out, truly guys, I am the last person on earth who's ever have even considered having a podcast. You know, speech impediment, stuttering, missing the bottom piece of it. I'm having trouble putting a couple sentences to perfect timing. After 2 years of starting and stopping, never anything I've actually done, I decided to put one up. Do a total of 12 downloads in one week. And probably half of those were me. But my goal was eventually to get people to download. That happened in my third week. But I got my first 10, and that week I got my first message. Somebody actually reached out and did it. He said, hey, you're what I like to say. Keep on doing it. So 9 years later, 300 plus episodes later, I'm still doing it. Still fun.
Yeah.
And you have a podcast too. What did that called?
Yeah, I do. It's called Sarcastic Distractions.
And the reason you started yours was?
Not because I have a speech impediment or anything like that. No, that's not because of but I started the podcast because I'm a fan of entertainment, and I think it's fun to just kind of go on and talk about. I would say one of the things that I do very well is talk. Talk a lot.
I think the
Your mic is off.
Oh, is it? Oh, shouldn't be.
The one on Switch, that game,
Good job.
it's fair.
Oh, maybe it is.
Master.
Oh, last name.
Yeah, Tom on the Switch.
Hello, hello. Hello?
That's working. Feel like it. And we can still win.
All right, my technical difficulties.
Sorry guys.
Joys of podcasting.
Yep.
You're very good. They have some.
No microphone. Hello? No.
Yeah, they don't have
Project.
Well, technical difficulties aside, I have done this without mics for audiences in all over the country, but the mic was working and then it stopped.
And then it did.
Mid sentence there.
Yeah. This mic should be working.
Oh yeah, mine's big.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, go on.
the reason that I actually really started my show was because I was listening to Kevin Smith, and he said anyone can start a podcast.
Yeah.
So I started. Of course, I tried starting my show out with multiple friends of mine, people who just have similar interests, and that never worked. Our schedules didn't click. Certain things just did not work for me. So one day I truly just said fuck it, and I did it. I did it myself, and put out my first solo show. And then I interviewed a very good friend of mine, Brent Baird, well-known Canadian actor. If there's a horror movie that's been filmed in this country in the past 10 years, he's the weird pale guy that you would recognize. He was in a film called Secret Santa, and he actually let me interview him as my very first guest. And from then on, I got the bug, and I love talking to people. I love hearing interesting stories. Just all over the world, I've talked to people everywhere from South Africa, Russia. If anyone has an interesting story, I want to talk to them about it. That's why I'm kind of here. I'm a very boring guy, and there's a lot of interesting people here this weekend that I could definitely talk to, and then I started my actual podcast network. I started the OIW Podcast Network because I knew Ontario had a bunch of great independent podcasts, but no one was working together. Like, it's just one of those things that everyone did their own thing, there was no organization, nobody was together with people, and it was just one of these ideas that I had that I just kind of took and run with it. Right now, my network in Canada has over 35 shows, and my sister network, the Genre Network in Europe, has 65, and they are the biggest podcasting network in Europe right now. That's European based.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Some of these things that have happened, like the friendships I've actually made and the connections with people, like, who would have thought one of the guys I text all the time is a Russian deathmatch wrestler who has taken up acting as a gangster, but I truly know the guy, and he is the biggest animal lover you would ever meet. And he has this little Shih Tzu about yay big, and this big, bald, tatted up guy who you would not think would be putting little pink bows on his head. It's the sweetest thing.
That's amazing.
And Alex is probably gonna kill me once he finds out I actually told that story.
Well, it's a long flight, so you got time.
Oh yeah.
From Russia.
Actually, he's been in talks with GCW.
Oh, nice.
He has put this on social media, so I can actually talk about it now. They want to bring my crazy Russian friend in to do wrestling in Philly.
Okay.
It's
Home ECW.
yeah.
All right, on.
They want to bring Alex to the ECW arena and put on a show, and that's just insane.
That is bonkers. Yeah.
For a guy who got famous for lighting his own foot on fire with a guitar photograph.
But also talk about 6 degrees of separation.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like how close you are to that too, right? And he's like, wow, well, obviously, dude, if you know your personality, yeah, you would love a deathmatch wrestling.
Oh yeah. And,
who happens to be from Russia.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have actually met a lot of deathmatch wrestlers, hardcore wrestlers, and some of the sweetest people you are going to meet.
For sure. Probably get all their rage out of the deathmatch portion of it all.
Yes.
In regular life, they just,
Yeah,
they're
they
ponytail, loving.
They get all the anger out on each other.
Yeah.
And then,
Fluorescent light tube to the head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Like, my buddy is so happy he got to use a machete in his match.
That's ridiculous.
It's absolutely
That's insane. Insane.
It's insane. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about breaking the nerves. When you put yourself out there, and I have been ghosted, I have been yelled at by people who have agreed to do shows. I have every bad thing you can possibly think of with reaching out and trying to reach somebody has probably happened to me.
That's just your dating.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now.
Are you using the microphone?
Well, no.
Okay. All right. You're good. All right.
Okay. And I am going to welcome to the stage our third for the night, Buzz Button.
Hey, Buzz.
Hey,
Buzz.
Hi there, buddy.
All right. How are you?
How's it
going?
How's it going?
All right. All right.
Yeah, Buzz, this mic is not working, so we got to project. You got to project.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. How's it going, everyone?
Oh yeah.
Good.
We've been talking for 15 minutes.
Yes, I heard you back there.
Already?
Gilby's been regaling us with tales of the history of the network and Gimli Talks.
Okay.
And it's been fun.
And now let's talk about how me and you met.
Oh, this has got to be a fun story.
You want to start?
Well, we met through a professional wrestler who had a Patreon. And we were working on doing our promos and putting ourselves out there more. And something happened in my personal life, and I asked Curtis a simple question. And I got some of the best advice in my life back. And I don't want to get into my personal details, but
Well, essentially, I also have a few podcasts, but the one he is referring to is one called Where's My Mind with Curtis Rich, or Curtis Rich Cannon now. And I talked about how coming out for me was a struggle, and the trials and tribulations. The episode was called The Trials and Tribulations of My Coming Out Story. And I think it was my 4th or 5th episode of the show, and I essentially, I just put it all out there, like for the first time, and it felt very reflective. Cathartic, that's what that was.
Yeah.
I grew up in a neighborhood that really wasn't the best. Especially around the LGBTQ community. I heard a lot of homophobic jokes, and not towards me, but others, and it always made me scared to come out of my community. It was what it was, and I guess this is why I'm so integral into the convention scene. And it was literally a convention where I came out. So, I've been doing conventions since I was like 12 years old. I've been running this grind for like many years. I'm 31 now. And I've made so many memories and moments, but the one thing that keeps me going on was how I came out, because it was a completely unexpected like turn of events, and it started off as a really bad situation that turned into a good situation. So, for context, I wasn't always this at one point. I used to dress up as a 1958 character named Gumby. He is a piece of clay that jumps into books. It's a really great kids show. I grew up with it. I had a lot of sentiment with it. And I dressed up as this character for about 13 years of my life. going to conventions and just putting smiles on people's faces. That is all I wanted to have to do. Hence now why we're running this. That's all I want. I love giving people a moment. And it was this particular moment that made me realize I was living kind of a fake life. I was not really actually what I was. So for context, this was at Anime North, I think 6 years ago. 6 years ago now. So I was dressed up doing my Gumby thing. It was like, I think 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, Anime North, for context, does panels till 4 in the morning. Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's usually watch-alongs and everything, but sometimes there's like after rave.
Oh my God.
So I'm in party mode. I'm going to after rave. And there was this another group that dressed up as like 4 different Gumbies. So from pretty much the different eras. They called themselves Gumby Squad. They were based up in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. They're no longer existing anymore. They weren't great. But essentially what happened is they went to a voice acting panel and started a fist fight with another group of cosplayers for no reason whatsoever other than they're just another group of cosplayers. So it was a bunch of people. I don't know what anime it is, and anyone who's watching this, please let me know because it's been bothering me for years, but it was a bunch of guys dressed up in tuxedos and they have pigeon heads on. I have no idea what this anime is, and it's been bothering me for 6 years. Please help me. But one of them basically went, "Hey, fuck you, Gumby," and I'm like, "Well, why are you saying that to me? I'm just coming up here. I've never even met you before." And that got my friend really red hot. Now, my best friend, Chris, he will stand up for me for anything that goes on, and he's basically my ride or die. When this happened, he got so angry, he basically pushed me out of the way and kicked that door open and got into that guy's face. So what ended up happening is we found out what happened, and I told him I'm not part of those people, and if I knew about those people, I'm actually really disappointed because they were just interacting with me and being nice to me because I'm Gumby. So this makes me sad. And we hugged it out after, and he pulled me in for a kiss.
Whoa.
But he did it through his pigeon.
Oh.
So it was super weird, but like, I don't know, I kind of liked it.
Okay.
So you can imagine me on this. I'm like super conflicted, and I just did that in front of like literally my best friend, his best friend, our other like 3 other friends. Like these are all my people I grew up with, and they're just seeing this. And I was like at this point like the fakest straight person you could ever meet in your life. Like I had such a poker card. It came out as a surprise to everyone when I came out 2 months later. But that was the first thing. So about 2 months later, I went to work, and I was working at a Burrito Boys at the time. Anyone who knows what Burrito Boys is, shout out, great place. Go try it out.
Yeah.
But I used to work at one, and one of my coworkers was pansexual, and I had no idea what pansexuality is. This is a completely new term to me, and this is where I discovered my vast love for the LGBT and getting so fascinated. She was explaining to me that, well, I don't like people for their gender or the way they look or anything. It's all about the personality, like hearts, not parts. And that stuck with me so much. And I blurted out, "I'm pan too," and she just looked behind me and she's like, "This is why I'm gonna want it." And here's the thing, I pulled her to the back, I'm like, I think I just came out to you. The next day, literally the next day I walked in, one of my best friends at work literally tackled me to the ground. She was so happy. I called my friends and let them know. My best friend was basically completely taken back, went to his wife, was like, did that just happen? Because like I said, I played such a poker face because of the environment that I lived in basically made me shut out. But it was that moment I am in North mixed in with just reflecting over the 2 months afterwards and what happened, that just gave me the strength to come out. And yeah, the whole pansexual thing just kind of puts it all together. I've been pansexual now for 6 years now since I actually came out. And since then I've explored so much. Now I'm polyamorous. I have a husband who's behind there that I love very, very much. And yeah, my life completely changed around when I found this radio. It just so happened that when that happened, I had my podcast. So I really wanted to make an episode about it because I'm like, holy hell, if this is what I'm getting out of my own reflection, what a difference could I make for others? So I put it out there. I just put everything that happened over the last 3 months, and I put it on the podcast. You can find it on Spotify right now. Where's My Mind? Deep dive in the Creative Works, episode 4. And it helped this one because of stuff that was going on in their life. Again, I'm not going to get into it for respect to them, but I helped them through it, and it was because of my podcast that they came to me and asked me. And I've had so many come to me and ask me, and actually people come out to me because of my podcast. So I love the power of your voice and what you can do for someone. So I didn't care what this. It just so happened it blowed up, but I wasn't. I didn't. I was the way I did it and the way I see it for a lot of things I do. If I can impact one person, just one person, even in any single way, it is worth all the time in the world. That's why I do furry yoga. That's why I do customized events. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I dress up as a half rabbit, half cat, and I come out and entertain you in any way that is possible. Just because I just love giving a moment. And it was a moment that helped me in podcasting. It was my moment that made me meet incredible individuals like Gilman themselves.
Wait a second. You said that you dressed up. I thought it was like very close.
So, it's. You started it by saying Curtis. You shut your mouth. Anyway, so it's just it's just so incredible. This community has done wonders. Podcasting has literally made me into who I am, and it's the reason why I'm up on the stage right now talking with you guys.
Now, real quickly, it's really great because it's just to touch upon your stories for a second. You were talking about how podcasts have changed your life. Through this podcast, this connection, you guys are changing each other's lives. Podcasts helping podcasts.
And that's what OIW is all about. It's all about helping each other and uplifting each other.
We have people on our network from all walks of their life. I have Lewis from Windsor, like a 60-year-old guy who loves watching wrestling and complaining about how it was better in his day. And thousands of people listen to Lewis just complain. But he's one of the nicest guys. But if you would hear his show, he sounds like the oldest curmudgeon. Well, in 1987, when Dusty Rhodes wrestled, it was so much more believable than this modern flippy stuff. And then he'll go on how he loves New Japan's pro wrestling's flippy stuff. So, now, do you want to get into how you started actually working together? Yeah, so very straight, boring, white guy with 4 kids working with this guy.
It's such a mismatch, but I don't know how it works.
More different.
That's made of peanut butter.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's but
So I want to be honest with you, because I've never actually did this to you, but anytime anyone asks me how I met you.
Yeah.
I always say the story in a satirical way. Well, essentially, Gilmy came up to me and said, "You're great, but your content sucks." And you know what? He was harsh. I'm not gonna lie, he was harsh.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But he was right. I was doing a lot of things not consistently, and I was making a lot of mistakes. Now, thankfully, he was willing to help me on that. And I don't know, just kind of blossomed into this mismatched business relationship that somehow works. I don't know how it works.
It's
You think people would think we were doomed from the beginning, but no.
Oh yeah, because we started with a merchandise business, and we started making T-shirts and clothing for professional wrestlers to sell.
We have T-shirts here. We're at Moonlit Mingle, so I am going to plug it. If you're at Moonlit Mingle, grab a shirt for T-shirts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See, I have run many different businesses throughout my life for other people, and I have done them successfully. Some of the highest fine dining establishments in London, Ontario. I have been a flair bartender. I'm award-winning for my Caesars. I actually sold a recipe to a restaurant chain who wanted it, and I have done a lot of things on the business side. I've created my own online merchandise stores. What haven't I done? I've done live events, marketing, sponsorships. I run my own handyman company on Sundays.
Now, whereas me, I was more, before this one introduced me more to the business mentality of things. I was more of the hands-on guy. I got my hands dirty on pretty much every job. Like I mainly do video producing for a living. So I work for Death Proof Wrestling, New Frontier Pro Wrestling, Barry Wrestling. I'm responsible for Barry Wrestling getting on IWTV and New Frontier getting on Fight Network. And now I just recently got my third gig now with Death Proof. It's been awesome. New show coming soon. Shout out Death Proof. But yeah, it's just been. I was very hands-on, and I knew how to produce, and I knew how to make a great content. But when it came to marketing, when it came to plugging myself, when it came to getting it out there, I knew nothing. And I was so hands-off on it that I just wasn't getting anywhere. And the funny thing was, I did the typical creator, oh, this may not be for me, maybe people just don't like my stuff, maybe I'm just not meant for this. But no, it's really where it came down to it. I just didn't know how to market myself. And that's what I tell people now every single time, regardless whether you want to do video, audio, podcast, a YouTube channel. You have to market yourself, because no one's going to market you more than you're going to market yourself. And if you're a believer in your own bullshit, then other people are going to believe in your bullshit too. So bullshit all the way around. So
oh yeah. And it's just one of those things that we just clicked. Like, I'm not the outlandish, out there, flashy guy. I'm pretty boring. Like, I like going to bed by 9:30 at night. I like watching my Bob's Burgers falling asleep in front of the TV. That is, to me, is the perfect night. I have my wonderful wife right beside me, and I'm talking to her, talking about the kids,
and I'm totally the opposite. I'm up all night, always working, or I'm doing something creative. I have 6 things going. I have to have my husband bitch at me to get me off of 5 of those things, so that I can actually come and hang out with you. And there was always a problem with me. I'm very ADHD with my projects. So, I like to have 6 or 7 things going on at once, and I'm always a high pressure. That's where I'm at.
And I've kind of took his energy and streamlined it.
More or less.
most days.
Feel the connection.
Yeah. And then I brought you on as my partner for OIW.
Yeah, so, and which is funny because I approached him on this because we originally had this called the Ontario Independent Wrestling Network. But I always found like we've blown up so much to the point where like, we have video game shows, we have like murder mystery shows. Like it's turned into something different. It's no longer, it's something more now. And I felt like that name no longer reflected what we were. So one of my first things I did when I came in with them was I changed it to the Ontario Independent Podcast, or weekly podcast. And that was just to make more transparency for where we are now. And it's very similar with my group Toss and Blues. We were very much embedded into the furry culture, but then over time we grew, well, now we have pups, now we have ravers, now we have cosplayers, now we have gamers, and it kept growing and growing, and it was to the point where even our logo currently on this is no longer reflective of who we are now. We're currently in the process of making a new version of it. But I felt like the name we had didn't reflect where we were now. So the first thing I did was change it to the Ontario Independent Weekly Podcast Network, which me and this one came up with. And we felt like it more reflects what we are now and where we want to go into the future. Because we're Ontario-based. We may have shows outside of Ontario, but we're Ontario-based. And we are providing a weekly podcast network for Ontario, for whatever you're into. And soon enough, you're going to see this lovely face. I have a lovely show coming for it as well, called Buzz's Corner, at some point. So, there's something for everyone in this network. Whether you're a wrestling fan, gamer, nerd, horror buff, murder mystery buff, there's something for you. And if there's not, we always take suggestions because we never stopping.
No, it's just a show that I'm a huge fan of on our network. Star Wars.
Star Wars is so good.
It's one of my favorite shows. It's Adam Hayes bringing on his friends, and they just rip him to shreds for like a good hour, and they just talk about whatever the topic is. Like the last one, they talked about the Halloween movies.
So for context, Adam Hayes works with one of our partners, New Frontier Pro Wrestling. Basically, everyone hates him. Satirically. Like, we love the dude, but we also hate the dude. Because he's basically, he's a heat magnet, in what we like to call it in the wrestling world. So he'll walk into a room, and basically everyone will say, so he's very good at basically pulling the energy of a crowd and making them change over time. So he has a podcast that's literally about that, where he'll have someone like another one on our podcast, George, come in and basically say the most foul, non-PG insults that you could ever come up with. And he's not even coming up with a topic. He's just going in just to talk shit to Adam Hayes for an hour because he can't do it enough already on New Frontier on a bi-monthly
Can
basis.
literally make a podcast out of anything.
I know. They literally do a podcast together, reviewing wrestling and talking shit to each other, and it's not enough. They work together, and it's not enough. George is so adamant on making Adam Hayes' life count on every show and any show possible, and I'm 100% for that.
Oh, it is so much fun to watch those guys, and to see where George has actually grown over the years as a show, because he started it out, it was him and two other friends. Then he went solo for about 100 episodes, was doing interviews with wrestlers, and then he brought his daughter into the show, and it took it to another level because she's better than him. And he hates it. Hates it so much that his daughter is a better podcaster than years. She took so naturally to it, and now she has a bigger show than me.
She's doing like interviews with like TNA wrestlers and big names from New Japan, and he's just sitting here like Destiny next week and just salty. My daughter's like a quarter of my age. And, God damn. She's amazing, and it's I always find it funny. Love you, George, your daughter's so busy. Oh yeah. That's a generation gap, though. That's a generation gap. That always happens.
Yep. And she goes as the mini host. So
Yes, the mini host.
there we go. And that was fun. And then I met John Scott.
Oh, God.
And he had this wonderful idea to combine our networks in Ontario and England. So we swap shows back and forth, so we're getting more international downloads, which truth is, it means more money for the shows. For sponsorships, commercials. When you have a global reach and you can show people that in your analytics, companies will give you money to be on your show.
And I want to state this too, like, for the last like week or two, we've been kind of going through each of the shows. Some of them are most of them are staying. Like, most of them are staying, but some of them are either gonna have to course correct or kicked off the network. And even myself, I lost one of my shows because of its inconsistency. And that was a thing on me. But so some people are gonna look at me for that and think that like I'm dead. But really, at the end of the day, I look at it and I see it as this. I mean no hard feelings on it, and I love every single person on it. But when it comes down to it, the sponsor is not going to look at a show with 5 viewers and a show being every 3 weeks. You know who I'm talking about. So it's just, you got to be consistent, and you have to move forward. You can't just have one good episode and then be bad. It reflects bad on you, it reflects bad on the network, and everyone involved. Yeah, there is a little bit of media thing. Here, I can talk right now. I'm talking about it. Yeah, thank you. With it. But it's just the fact that at the end of the day, me and Gilman just want the best network we can make it. So every single person on this network who busts their hump, making an episode every single week, putting in the research, putting in the guts, the ones who are actually putting in the grind are the ones that do. And the ones that stay. And that is a lot of people on the network. So
I've gotten sponsorship commercials. I set them up with sponsors that fit their show, which is really cool to get your friends paid.
Yeah.
So, I think, do we want to wrap this up soon? A little bit? Where we are, we've been talking for like 45 minutes about ego strokes. So, why don't we ego stroke a little bit more? Alright, guys, on YouTube.com, we're at Moonlit Mingle, and this is a event that we only had 10 weeks to prepare for. This one wanted to strangle my neck the moment I brought it to him. But essentially, one of our community members in our chat was talking to the owner, Chris here. His name's Gabby, and he was mentioning that he had a camping thing going on. And us at staff at Cosmos Events, which is our group in Toronto, Ontario, it's a hybrid group, multi-fandom, furries, pups, cosplayers, gamers, ravers, DJs, and enthusiasts. BDSM enthusiasts too. We're all over the map. But this was something we wanted to do for a long time, a very, very long time. And as the leader of this group, I kind of looked at that and I gave Gabby a message like right away. And I was like, hey, I saw you just posted this in my chat. And do you want help with it? And it's funny. I thought he was going to tell me to go to hell. Honestly, I was like, no, this is my event. Fuck you. I don't want anything to do with it. And he surprisingly said yes. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going. So I messaged this guy. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna strangle your neck. I was like, no, calm down.
loving way.
Calm down. So much of it is already planned. So, yeah. So the first week, he wanted to just strangle me, and he thought this was just such a bad idea. We don't have enough time and everything. I'm like, yell me. You could say that about everything we've ever done for the last 4 years. What do you mean? So once he thought about that for a second, he got on board with me because essentially we do everything with very little time. We pull it off every time. So what did you expect? Anything different here? Because we're at a convention? Yeah. Well, that's what you get for your lack of faith. So,
I mean my words.
yeah, thank you. Talking to Gaddy over the last 10 weeks has been great. And then he was messaging Chris and everyone else. And everything just flowed together. Once we put on the ticket sales and got things going, the excitement got like extremely buzzing. We went right off the gate. People were like sharing it everywhere, and that was surprising to me because of the timing and everything. I'm like, well, we may get a few. I wasn't expecting it to be anywhere near this. And every time we kept going by week, more people wanted to get on board. Next thing you know, we went from a simple little meetup with a bunch of furs. Now we have a drag show. Now we may have wrestling. Now we may have this. Oh, now the wrestling's not on, but we're going to do something for this for the drag show. Now we have karaoke. Like, everything just kept piling on, and everyone like, is this really happening? And here's the thing for me. Like, going back to earlier, I said I've been doing this since I was 12. My dream was to make a convention of any type. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to run a convention one day and see the smiley faces that I'd done for 13, 16, 19 years of just grinding and bringing moments to people on a whole weekend basis. And I'm still buzzing over coming here yesterday at like 9:30 at night, and because I was super late because of traffic and the Gardner Express being so messed up, I was at least backed up for like 40 minutes. And I think I like napped a little bit, but I woke up and I saw the Rainbow Gate. And I just remember this overwhelming sense of like, oh my God, it's actually happening. So, and I've been basically like that since I came here. And I gotta say, shout out to the campground. You guys are amazing. The staff has been amazing. The residents have been amazing. I keep hearing from everyone that like they've been invited for dinners, for coffees. People have been giving a ride. Like I got a ride multiple times today by people. It's just great. With this one in the front too.
You guys are great.
So it's just you guys have been amazing, and I've never been to a venue or an area or even a campground that's been so accommodating. Not only to me, my staff, my guests, and everything. Like, I've heard nothing but great things, and I've been so excited to get here since when Forerunner, our first guy, came here. They said he was invited in for a dinner and coffee and all these things, and then my DJ this morning was invited for a coffee at like 7 in the morning by one of your residents. So it's like, this is amazing, and we were not expecting anything like this. And I just gotta say, shout out to the campground. You guys not only have accommodated us way more than we were even imagining, your campground is beautiful and your residents are amazing. This venue we're in right now, which is the Vine Bar, huge. I gotta say, one suggestion I can make for Cedar Campground, y'all need bigger and better pictures because your pictures don't do your campground justice for how big this place is. That fire pit area is massive. And if I knew we had that kind of area, oh my lord. Oh my god, we would have got the tent, we would have got some archery and things next year. But, so, yeah.
Insurance first.
Yeah. That goes without saying. But, yes, Cedar Campground's been amazing. Moonlit Mingle, we've only been here for a day. We had some delays due to whether our people being stuck in traffic, equipment not being here because we had to do 3 runs. We did 3 runs to get all our equipment here. Yeah, we want to talk about the grind. One of our volunteers volunteered to do all that driving, and a big shout out to Forrest for doing 3 runs today. He has been running since 4 a.m. He just finished at 7 today.
Where was it coming from?
Coburg.
Oh my lord.
So yeah, we have some dedicated volunteers, some dedicated staff, because everyone just wanted to make this so successful and come out to see the campground and just check this out. And yeah, we couldn't be more happier. So if you're here and you're listening to this and you're watching the live or you're listening to Gilby Talks, because we're posting it everywhere, check our schedule. Our schedule's kind of changed because weather and, like I said previously, so many logistics. But we have so many events going on this weekend. I can tell you a few of them. Tomorrow, we have the Fuzzy Love Games, which is a furry love game in here at the bar. You can either have an all-access pass or there's a door cover. But essentially, we're going to...
The newlywed game.
It's the newlywed game, but with furries. So if you don't have a persona, make one. It doesn't matter. Have fun with us. You don't have to be a person to have a persona. Just make one. But basically, you come in, do what your character would do, not what you would do. So we got that. We got Hardcore Hurrah, which is an afternoon rave, and that's our lovely DJ Candy Wolf, which you two just met. And we also have a dance later in the night. And just so much stuff, and that's just the stuff in here. Yeah. I mean, we got the clothing optional area for anyone who's into 19 plus BDSM stuff. We got a whole day of events for you.
But fair warning, it is cold out.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Yeah.
Actually, today was really nice. You guys came a little bit later, but it was actually like 14 degrees. I was in shorts and sweats. So if we get the weather like we did today, we're gonna have no problem. But yeah, we have a jockstrap relay race in the clothing optional area. So there's like a little circle. They're just going around the outside of that circle, past the baton and everything. But you're in a jockstrap, which helps one of our drag queens who's going to be running the drag show tomorrow, which is at 5. Which our host is Crystal, aka Yuki, depending on what community you're in the furry world, Yuki, in the drag world, Crystal Rose. But she is amazing. You guys are going to love her. You're going to see myself as my drag furry alternative self, which I'm going to save the name for tomorrow. These two know. I don't want anyone else to know. It's something new for me, but expect some drag comedy from me. I got a look, I got a performance. It's going to be fun. It's something different. And it goes back to what I said earlier. I love doing new different avenues, new different things, doing 6 different projects. And on top of with that, it's doing new things. So, Moonlit Mingle. We have so much going on Sunday. Lots of stuff. And also our Olympic Challenge tomorrow, or the Moonlit Mingle Warrior Challenge, which is a big obstacle course out in the field by the fire pit. Come check that out. That's going to be fun. It's a collaboration with my group, with Buffalo Con, and a few others of our groups. should be fun. And yeah, there's a whole heck of a lot of stuff going on. I could rant on you forever. Just moonlitmingle.com. The schedule is a little outdated right now because of our changes. So go onto our social media, which is all at Moonlit Mingle on all social media platforms. And then we also have a Telegram, which is a two-way authenticated chat system. It's an app. It's free. That's actually where our community comes from. A lot of us furries talk on Telegram a lot. We actually just got our host on there.
Yes.
And one day this will. Yeah, we have over 258 community members strong there, and
It's actually pretty thriving.
growing every single day. Yes, you now actually see it,
It's
so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I have backup.
Well, because when you first signed me up, I'm like, maybe it's just their little thing. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's a
We're
legit
a
offering.
thriving community here, and we're growing every single day. And just like Moonlit Mingle is going to grow every single year. This is just the first year, guys. We're just getting started. So, moonlitmingle.com, get your tickets, $50 for all access, $150 for super sponsor, and of course, if you're a resident here, you can get door prices for anything in the bar. Everything outside is free if you're a resident. So, come on out, come check it out. Moonlitmingle.com. Join us, have fun.
See some furries, see some queens,
See some cosplayers, see some ravers. We're a group all over.
podcasters. Yeah.
Podcasters, yeah. There's this one, come and join me. We'll be here all weekend interacting with all of us. He has no idea what he's in for.
Great stuff.
That's going to be the fun part.
Up and down and riding the wave, you know?
So, OIW though, we're going to be here all weekend long for OIW at multiple parts in here. So if you like what came out of our mouth holes for the last hour, us banter, we're going to be doing this randomly throughout the weekend. So we're going to talk a hell of a lot more. I'm going to be talking about how this all started. How Possible Clear started. We got lots of stuff we're going to be talking about. And then on Sunday, maybe you want to be a podcaster yourself. We're actually going to teach you the ropes, the 101 on the do's and don'ts of podcasting and mistakes that we have made over our history of doing podcasting. So if you want to become a podcaster yourself, for anything, come out to our Sunday one. It's free in here, and you can just check it out. We're going to be giving great advice, and who knows, maybe you'll be So, thank you guys so much. Anyone who's here in the audience, Moonlit Mingle, we're going to reset a little bit, and then we're going to start karaoke. As soon as I can get a microphone. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening to us banter.
Thank you all.
I'm going to be around for a little bit. If anyone was curious about anything I talked about, but Gilmy talked about, or our host, don't be afraid to come up, talk to us. We have no problem interacting.
And we got to do our little close. You can find Gilmy Talk on all social medias at Gilmy Talks, or on X now, I think it's called at Gilmy, because I've had that account since 2009.
I am Fuzz Cabot on all social media platforms. My name's Fuzz Buttons, but I go by Fuzz Cabot on social media, except for TikTok. TikTok, I managed to get Fuzz Buttons. The reason why I did that is because any other place you try to put in Fuzz Buttons, you'll get like sewing gear and stuff like that. It was very weird. So I had to come up with something else. So I am a cabot. I am the Fuzz Cabot. You can follow me everywhere. Even that new platform, Blue Sky, which for some reason people are liking and leaving Twitter for. I don't understand. But I'm on there. Blue Sky at Fuzz Cabot. I post funny TikToks. I do podcasting. I do this, and I run events with Awesome Police events. So I post all the time. I got some funny content. I got some good content.
Our host also has a
I do.
podcast.
You can find Sarcastic Distractions anywhere you listen to podcasts, and I am this guy Harvey on all the socials. And if you game up PS, you can find me at this guy Harvey.
It's a great podcast. Check it out.
Thanks.
Once again, thank you very, very much for listening, guys, and thank you for having us.
Hopping out of here.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thanks all. Thank you.